Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you some easy steps to painting a background and hydrangeas, the leaves and the stems. I actually used 4 colours to paint this, but I started off with 3: French ultramarine blue, titanium white and primary yellow. I later added alizarin crimson, so that makes 4 in total. I like to blend my backgrounds quite thoroughly, and I buy makeup brushes to do this from the dollar store, and they're $1 each, and you can buy a number of them. I also like to use a large flat for the background, and I used several brushes for this painting. I had a 3/4 inch flat, a 1/2 inch flat, a small round, number 6 I think, and a liner brush. I later added for the upper petals a filbert with a rounded top. I'm painting on 140-pound watercolor paper, with acrylic paints. It's easy to store if it's just a few sheets. I have boxes of canvases, and I had to change over to painting on paper just because I was running out of storage space. I'm starting off on the top left corner using titanium white and French ultramarine blue to give me a sort of sky blue colour. It will mix with the primary yellow and make a lovely green in the middle, and I use that same green in various tones for my leaves and my stems. I add some titanium white to sort of blend it in a little bit and to make this center portion a lighter green. I don't want this background to be too dark, and you can do a number of different backgrounds for hydrangeas. They look lovely on greys and blues and even pinks. You can really try out making backgrounds to your own taste. You only need 2 or 3 colours to mix to do it. No, you don't want to get too crazy. Or maybe you do. It's all up to you. I'm blending out the brush strokes because it's my personal taste to have a soft background, but some people like those brush strokes in there to give it texture. It really all comes down to personal taste, in my opinion. Another thing you can do, I don't always do it myself, is to put a sort of leafy texture in the background. I'm using a 1/2 inch flat to do this and mixing the yellow with the blue to give myself a green. And I just press the brush on and lift it off gently, and it gives some sort of leaf shapes. And you don't have to be very specific with this. You don't have to work at the leaves. Just use the brush to press down and draw out whatever comes out of the brush. That's what I say. And you get this sort of nice background leaf. I'm going to use a bristle fan brush And I find these very useful for making texture, grasses, sort of anything scrubby. And it just adds interest and texture to your painting. I forgot to turn my camera on. I often do that, don't I? But I really just use the flat to stroke on some colour. I decided that the light was coming from the right, so the flower on the left will be darker slightly because it's not catching the light. And I just sort of slap the paint on, higgledy-piggledy, it doesn't really matter, it's all texture. I'm a bit ashamed of this brush. It's a filbert with a rounded top, which I'm going to use for petals. And I'm just putting petal shapes on. I'm not doing the little florets. Hydrangeas are made up of hundreds of florets with 4 petals each. And I'm not concentrating on that. I'm just putting in petal shapes. I lost my filbert brushes. I must have boxes somewhere that I haven't unpacked, and this was the only one I could come up with, so I do apologise for its state, but it's working quite well. I had to take the sound out here because the dogs started barking, but it's not the video, it's my dogs. You don't want to hear them. I apologise for the state of this round. I have not yet found my cleaner and conditioner. I think I'm just going to have to go and buy some new stuff. But the hydrangea flowers already look quite hydrangea-ish, but when I put on the florets, the 4-petaled florets, it will begin to look even better, as you'll see. And I don't paint all 4 of the petals. I quite often just paint 2 or 3 and a sideways swipe, and that gives me a top petal, and it makes the flowers look as though they're formed in different directions. I'm apologizing all over the place today, sorry about that, that was my phone. So now the 4 petals or 3 petals with a sideways swipe are beginning to make the flower more dimensional. It's beginning to look more like a hydrangea flower, and you'll see as I go on I'll use a Q-tip to put in the centers, and I don't put in every single center. I'll say that now so you won't be disappointed. You don't want to overpower the flower by putting in all those little dotty bits. So you'll see as I go on. I will say that I like to start off with a fairly dark base, but it rarely stays that way. I usually put lighter and lighter petals over it, but that dark base does peep through and it gives depth to the flower, and we want that because we want that rounded dimension that hydrangeas have, and we want the highlights to show up, and you need that darkness to show up those highlights. So I do tend to change them up as I go along. I don't end up with the colour I start off very often, although I'm close to it in this case. I forgot to say I added alizarin to the palette to give me some sort of purple colour, and also I'll use it in the stems and maybe in the leaves, not always. We'll just see as I go along. You only want to put this highlight where you think it will glance off the flower, not everywhere, otherwise you'll lose the roundness. And the two on the right are very lit, so I think they're looking good. I might be overdoing this a little bit. I've mixed up a mid-tone green and I'm using a regular Q-tip to put in the dots. Don't put them in all over the place. Oh, that's all you'll see when you look at the painting. Just put in a few here and there. I'm using a large flat for the leaves, and I'm pulling the stroke in from the outer edge of the leaves in toward the center. I made that leaf too pale. It wouldn't be that light because the light is not catching. It's on the shadowy side of the plant. So when you're painting with acrylics, you can make these little changes very easily. It's a little more difficult with oils. You've got to scrape things off and start over. Sometimes you can blend, but with acrylics, it's a very simple thing to do. I sometimes change whole areas of my painting that I've decided I don't like. It's best not to stare at your painting too much after you've finished it, because then you'll find yourself making changes all the time. For the stems, I'm using a liner brush, and I usually have either raw sienna or raw umber on my palette, but I don't have those today, so I'm going to make use of what I do have. I'm just sketching in the lines at the moment for the stem, and I'm going to darken with alizarin and French ultramarine blue, and you'll see they will look like stems. They will look very nice, even though I don't have the regular brownish colors. I'm also going to add in the twiggy bits because they just look nice in a painting. Something bare without any leaves on it, just for effect. I don't like this one up here, so I'm using a wet brush to wipe it out, and then I'm just going to mix titanium and primary yellow on there and sort of blend it in a bit. It will just look part of the texture of the painting. You won't even know it was ever there. I think this painting is done, and I'm going to use a liner and sign my name and the year with alizarin crimson. Quite often I will wait till the painting is dried and use a acrylic paint marker to sign my name, because it's a little neater, I find. But I just got this liner, so I'm trying it out. And it works quite well, I think. Good enough anyway. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did. That helps my channel grow, and please subscribe and share with your friends. I appreciate it if you could do that, and thank you very much for watching.